The expansion of HPV, human papillomavirus, vaccine indications, particularly for low-risk groups, reveals a troubling pattern in modern pharmaceutical strategy: the tendency to stretch the boundaries of medical necessity in pursuit of broader markets and higher profits. While the HPV vaccine is a valuable tool in preventing certain cancers, especially cervical cancer caused by high-risk HPV strains, its rollout and subsequent expansion highlight how public health messaging and scientific nuance can be selectively presented to serve corporate objectives. Gardasil, developed by Merck, became a billion-dollar blockbuster not only because of its medical potential, but because of how its use was extended beyond what many experts believed was necessary or supported by clear evidence. Initially approved in 2006 for girls and young women aged 9 to 26 to prevent cervical cancer and genital warts caused by HPV type 6, 11, 16, and 18, the vaccine was widely welcomed. These strains account for the majority of HPV-related cervical cancer cases, and vaccinating girls before sexual activity made clear sense. But within a few years, Merck and other stakeholders began pushing for broader uptake, including adult women, boys, and men, and even older adults up to age 45. The rationale was framed around public health and cancer prevention, but skeptics argued that the real driver was commercial expansion. From a scientific standpoint, the benefit of the HPV vaccine drops significantly once individuals are sexually active and likely to have already been exposed to one or more HPV strains. For many people in their 30s and 40s, vaccination offers limited incremental protection because HPV infections are often transient and cleared by the immune system. Yet Merck pursued FDA approval for these older age groups, which it received in 2018, expanding the eligible market dramatically, despite limited clinical evidence that vaccinating at this stage provides significant long-term protection. Many experts questioned the wisdom of this move. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force and other public health agencies have not strongly recommended catch-up vaccination for adults over 26 without individual risk factors. And several independent epidemiologists expressed concern that the messaging around these expansions blurred the line between population-level benefit and individual necessity. By marketing the vaccine as broadly as possible, even to groups with minimal statistical risk of HPV-related disease, Merck capitalized on fear, especially the potent fear of cancer, while downplaying the rapidly diminishing returns of late-age vaccination. This was not a case of outright fraud or a medically useless product. Gardasil and its successor, Gardasil 9, are powerful tools for cancer prevention when used appropriately. But the expansion strategy exploited the asymmetry between scientific nuance and public understanding. Most people, when told that a vaccine prevents cancer, will not ask whether it's still effective after a certain age or whether their personal risk justifies the intervention. They trust the recommendation. And in this trust lies the opportunity for manipulation. The profit was enormous. Gardasil became one of Merck's best-selling products, with annual sales crossing $3 billion globally. Much of that came not from high-risk populations where the vaccine is most effective, but from catch-up programs, mass school mandates, and adult vaccination pushes in countries where public health officials were under pressure to do more to fight cancer, whether or not the benefit was proportionate. There are other costs, too. The HPV vaccine has been a lightning rod for controversy, and while much of the public debate has been tainted by anti-vaccine misinformation, the pharmaceutical industry's aggressive marketing has not helped. By pushing the vaccine into populations where the science was weaker, Merck handed skeptics ammunition, casting doubt on what should have been a straightforward story of preventive medicine. It undermined the credibility of the vaccine in the very populations where it is most needed: young adolescents who could gain lifelong protection from early immunization. There's also the opportunity cost to consider. Every public health dollar spent on marginal expansions of HPV vaccination in low-risk adults is a dollar not spent on screening, education, or vaccinating the underserved adolescents who remain at highest risk of cervical cancer. In this way, overexpansion not only inflates profit, it distorts priorities. The Gardasil expansion is not a story of a useless drug or of deadly side effects. It's a story of how science, even when valid, can be stretched to serve commercial ends. It shows how industry influence can seep into public health policy, gradually transforming a targeted intervention into a mass-market product. And it's a cautionary tale of how medical recommendations, once loosened from strict evidence and fueled by fear-based messaging, can become vehicles for profit more than precision. When the line between public health and marketing blurs, trust suffers. And in the long run, that erosion of trust may prove more dangerous than any side effect on the label.